I started Climb in 1975. I started Climb as a theater company for persons with disabilities. And it was my effort to produce theater that was relevant to people with disabilities that taught me the process of theater that we do now, which is writing to specific objectives, creating plays and classes. After we had worked with just about every type of special population, mainstreaming came to the fore, and so we were working with combined groups of children with and without disabilities. And then we began working with regular education students as well as special ed students. Now we work with all kids. We reach between probably 300 and 450,000 kids a year.
Always stuck inside of my own cage. Just thought I'd do what everybody wants. And now I'm breaking free and I can't wait, 'cause I'm gonna see what I can do.
The characters in this play encounter many of the things that the 8th graders in Title I schools encounter.
So before we even start to think about like, oh, what characters could we have in this play, and what kind of dialogue would seem realistic, or what situations should we devise, we think, what questions do we want to ask the audience? What messages do we want them pondering when they leave? And we don't devise those educational objectives independently of our audience. From Climb's very inception back in 1975, our goal has always been to work with our audience as we come up with those educational objectives. We want to know what would be most useful to them, rather than just what we think they ought to know.
Hey man, did Lynn run off?
Yeah, love a spat.
Really? I'm happy for you, man. About time she noticed you like her. What? Hey, it's cool. We've been friends since we were 9.
Oh, yeah, so, how's the song coming?
It's coming, I guess. How's the motorcycle coming?
Oh, man, it's not. I need about another $200 in parts. That's what it's telling.
I think that's really great to see how the friendships really go through different, like the bad, you see the bad and the good about Danny and Tariq's relationship, and how Lynn's character affects their relationship, because there's the connection of how do these guys react to a girl, and how does the girl react to the guys. And I think the students as well, they see that in their schools and they connect to that as well. And it really, really works to really make the story very fun, I think, to keep it, it's always changing. You're always on wonder what's going to happen next.
Just 'cause I can play my part don't mean that I don't have heart. Yes, I do. Ooh, ooh. Just 'cause I don't try at school don't mean that I don't want to. Yes, I do. See, I remember when they would say that girl, she is going somewhere.
I think the key is to try and create your characters as fully as possible, so that way the audience is able to recognize the humanity in the people on the stage. And I think the more you can do that, the more likely they're going to recognize that this story could very well be about them. And they are able to engage empathetically with the characters on stage. And so that way it's not somebody talking to them, it's somebody talking with them. And they're able to engage in that dialogue, I think, furthermore, when after the play is over with, the actors that were in the play come into their classroom and very literally continue the dialogue with them. Ask them questions, get them involved in the process, so that way it's not just somebody talking to them, it's somebody asking them things, inviting them to participate in ways that they don't traditionally do in the classroom. In this particular case, our educational objectives were arrived at by the group that we were collaborating with, so that was the Minnesota Office of Higher Education, who this is all they do. And so they know a lot about what sorts of messages would be most useful to students in this particular socioeconomic bracket and this particular age level. And so we took their expertise and coupled it with our own research and our own instincts as theater artists, and that's how we arrived at the key messages of the play.
I think the great thing about this is that the fact that 65 different colleges and universities in Minnesota really helped to fund this program, which I hope that shows to students, and we try to preach this to them, that that this shows that colleges want you to go and be successful and to really go into the colleges.
The way that we always devise these is, again, we start with a set of educational objectives. And once we have those, then we ask ourselves the question, how, as interactive theater artists, can we show this stuff rather than tell this stuff? You know, how can we avoid just sort of saying it? You know, because that's the way that kids usually hear stuff. And one of the gifts that we have when we're working with 35 students instead of 235 students or more is that we're able to get them on their feet. We're able to encourage them to participate in activities that I think take them outside of their usual role in the classroom, where they sit, they receive, they raise their hand. But when you play these kinds of games, you're automatically jarred out of that experience into something new. For example, in our follow-up classes, one example of a game we play is called Doom, where, you know, a kid is led by other people across a circle, trying to avoid all these obstacles and that sort of thing. It's just a silly game, you know, and you can play it totally independently of any kind of educational objectives. But I feel like, because it's not what you usually do in the classroom, it's going to sort of put you in a different place, emotionally, mentally. And so you're now in a position to sort of consider something in a different way than you were before you played the game.
We always wonder when we go into a school, are they going to really get this? Are they going to really care about the show? And we're usually, 9 times out of 10, they always do. And right at the end, it's always when we have a breakout moment in the show.
Got all these things on my mind. You know what it's like. Got my father on my back all the time. There's nothing I can say or do. No. Some days I feel okay. I will. All 'cause I'll ride away. I'll ride away.
Even when we go into classes, you really see how much they really were into the show. And a lot of their comments are just amazing, the things that they can come up with that you wouldn't think that they may be able to come up with this at this time in their lives, but they really are connecting to these characters in these shows.
The way that we evaluate our effectiveness at CLIMB is through many different sources. Some of them have to do with our encounters when we're interacting directly with the kids. As I've mentioned before, when we're in the classroom, the kids will tell us what they think, and that's one of the biggest gifts that an 8th grade or really younger audience can give you, is that they're not likely to hold back with their opinions about your work after they've seen it in that setting. So if they liked it, they're going to tell you, you guys are the best. If they didn't like it, they'll say, like, what was up with that guy's shirt? You know, or like, you know, why would somebody do that? Or, you know, so they're going to, you know, they're going to tell you that stuff.
Yeah, I thought that the breakout session that happened in my classroom after the program was very active and engaging for the students. I think the performer who came into the classroom brought a lot of energy and thought-provoking ideas that the students could think about, internalize, and communicate back as a whole group. The students, especially in that session, as well as my other 8th grade students that I've had throughout the day, we've occasionally, throughout the rest of the school year, talked about that performance, and again about the decisions that they're making now, and you know how the breakout session helped enhance that as well, and how their decisions that they're making each and every day to do my homework or not do my homework, or to participate in this after-school activity or not, is going to affect my decisions that I'm gonna, and opportunities that I'll have later in life, as well as while I'm in school this year or school in the future.
One of the things that I think is remarkable about those effects is the fact that we didn't spend 2 weeks, 2 hours a day with these kids in order to yield those sorts of results. That kind of impact was achieved over a very short period of time, 40 to 90 minutes. And so one of the things we're proud of is the fact that we're able to work within the schedule of a regular school day and still achieve those sorts of results. It's something we work hard to do, and we're proud of having been able to do.